Hello, everybody. Happy Thursday. Oh my gosh. Another week come and gone, and here we are again to have some crafty goodness. So I'm so glad you guys are all out there. Sorry for the few-minute delay. I decided at the last minute to run and grab just a few things, and I totally forgot to grab my towel and a whole bunch of other things, but you know. What would it be if I didn't have like all of my stuff in front of me? And I've got some stamps on here that I don't need. Anyway, I hope you guys had a good week. I had a pretty good week too. You can hardly hear me. Can't hear me at all. Well, that's interesting. Oh, well, let's see here. Yeah, I see that the audio is a little soft. So let me see. Let me troubleshoot a little. Okay, so I hear it being soft. And I don't know why. So give me a sec. I might have bumped my... No, that's in the normal position. Yeah, I see that it's not coming across very loud, so we'll keep trying to fix this. Let's see. I don't know why. That shouldn't make any difference. Test, 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 test. It's like my, I'm looking at the sound on my computer here, and it is still, see if I sit right next to it, it's coming up better. But that still doesn't seem to be great. Yeah, I know, and I can't sit right in front of it. So hang on a second here. Let me try. Because I don't want to do... Make sure everything is plugged in okay. So guys, I don't know what's going on with my microphone. It's like it's freaking out. So give me a second here. I'm going to disappear, but it should keep my stream running. So give me just a minute. I'm going to try to reboot things on this system and see if that helps. So hang on. Yep. Okay. Yeah, I knew it was going to freeze. I actually had to turn my stream off and start things up again to see if it would work, but it didn't stop the stream on YouTube. It'll actually cut that out later. Does that sound better for you guys? Better. Okay. So we will kind of deal with this. It does look better on my end. It's not as good as I would like it to be, but I think we're good. Okay, so I'm going to do one more thing. And yeah, you're going to have to see this in your face or in the screen, but it's going to help. Okay, so that should be maybe even a little bit better. It's not the stream for sure. It's my system, and I'm not quite sure why. But this will have to do for today. Can you guys hear that better? Okay, good. Thank you so much for your help, and thank you for pointing that out right away, so I didn't like start going and we would have problems and I'd want to redo this again, right? Oh my gosh. Okay, so hey, I'm going to go down to my hands because that's where all the fun stuff is. Yeah, and I'm sorry about that. Hopefully this is better. And we will, at least it's not like garbledy sounding today. It's just that it's not, it's just not loud. So you guys might have to turn it up a little bit, and I'm sorry about that, but I think we'll be okay. So Wild and Free, we're going to do that today. I wanted to show you guys a few things that came out this week with Altenew. I didn't do any streaming live. I was just not feeling it. So anyway, I thought I would share with you some of the things that came out this week and the projects that I did with them. So we had a die release, and we've got a whole bunch of awesome new stuff with that. So we've got the linear pathway dies, and those are alphabets that they're a nice small size. They're like a 1-inch size, which is really super nice. And let me show you. So I made these with that, and that's super cute. So I'm glad to have a nice little alphabet set. So those are those. And let's see, what else did I... this fun background here, this is the lacy panel die, and it's smaller. It's only like, how big is this? Like just over 3 inches square, but it's a really pretty panel. And that made this pretty background here. And then there's this set here that is the sentiment strips, the essential sentiment strips. And so there's a whole bunch of different sentiments, and those are already stripped up for you. And some of the letters you would be able to use on their own after you have them punched out. But like the O, it's going to be in 2 pieces. So some of that's not going to work out so well, but it works really great, obviously, for those. So that, and then I use that actually in all of these. So here it is again. I just cut one up that said happy birthday. I just used the birthday part on it. And so then in this one, I use the happy from the Happy Holidays script die set, which is super nice because you can use them separately. So the happy will probably get a lot of use from me. And then of course I've got a holidays one too. So those, yeah, the sentiment strips kind of remind me of a very retro 80s look. So that's just something to keep in mind, that it's a little bit more of a techie 80s kind of look to it. Okay. So, and then 2 dies that I didn't use but may prove to be popular is the Modern Fireplace layering die set. And let me show you how big those are. So they're not very big. They're again like 3 inches long by like 2.5 inches tall. So it's just going to make a cute little fireplace with the flames and the log and a mantle, etc., to make like a fireplace. And then there's an add-on, the mantle decor, that has pieces that are sized to fit appropriate, like over the mantle and on the mantle and things like that. So some of the other designers use this set. So if you're interested in that kind of thing, that's worth looking into. But I did not use them. So those were new on Monday. And then these, and I was late because I was looking for my sunflower card that I made with these, and I can't find it. But these are the new Woodless watercolor pencils, and they had like a last minute delay with getting the production completed and getting their stock in time. So this was kind of like a soft opening for these. We will be using them a little bit more going into November, but they are woodless. So, you know, like the graphite pencils that I like to use when I'm doing some of our graphite work, they're the same. There's no wood with these. It's color all the way through. And then it's just got like a lacquered finish on the outside. So I don't always have the best luck with watercolor pencils, but I thought these were really, really great. So I'm excited that they have them. It's a set of 24, which is a lot of colors. And these are going to be really, really fun to use. So that's those. All right. But you know what? Let me check one other thing, guys, with the audio. Huh. I wonder. So I'm going to try something. I'm going to turn that off. Okay. Well, that didn't help. Oh, well. I thought maybe it would. Let me turn that back on before I forget about it. Oh, well. So, the nice thing, Teresa, about the pencils is that you can do all of your penciling first and then come back with water, which is really kind of a nice thing to do. And I'm going to be doing a video on like 5 ways to use these. So maybe that will get you interested in them. So yeah, the pencils are on back order. Don't forget to do the notification on that so you know when they come in and you can order them if you're interested in them. So let's see. Yeah, I like the size on the alphabet set, and I like that I can use them separately. Like I don't have to use the overlays. I can just use the regular letters or vice versa. So that's kind of unique as well. Let's see. So Teresa, you got the sentiment strips. Nancy, you got the alphabet dies. Awesome, guys. I hope to see you guys working on some projects with those. So another thing I did this week, actually I did yesterday, was I started working with my gel plate and our stamp set, the Wild and Free. And I'm going to do a demonstration of this next week. So for our final week, we'll do 1 card with the gel plate. And I thought you guys would be interested to see like how that turned out. And it's really cool. I'm very happy with some of the prints that I got. So this is one of the prints. And here's another print. You can't really see the flowers in this one so much. I used the masks in here. And so you can see that here, like these are the masks. I just put them on my gel plate and then I brayered over them and they did really cool things. So I'm going to show you how I created like this look. And then here's a different one that I did where I did the same thing where I brayered over the masks, but then I came back after it was dry and I stamped the images on top of it. So I was just having some fun with the gel plate, and I will show you guys how I did these. This is a little sneak peek for next week. So be sure to come back for that as we go into our last week of Wild and Free. Okay, so today's cards are these, and I think they are really stunning. Oh, this one still has some adhesive on it because I was taking photos with it and I had to use my temporary adhesive to shut it. And I forgot to pull out an extra little piece of typing paper for this to show you how this is going to work. But anyway, so this is our first card, and see, look, it's acetate in the whole thing. So that's one card that we will do today. And then this is our other card. So I love the Mega Hello, the Mega Dies from Altenew. So that's what we'll be using on this one. And that's going to be a ton of fun. So let's get started. Yeah, and you know, I noticed that like with all of my cards for this particular series of stamps, I've been using a lot of pinks and purples. So it just must be my thing this time. So we're going to start with this one. And I'll pull in my MISTI and we'll get started. Okay, so I got just some scrap cardstock here. And we're going to do some quick coloring on these guys. So instead of using black, I'm using pure graphite. And I knew that I had to get the dragonfly in here because Sue was like, oh, dragonfly. So I knew I had to. And I'm just going to grab a couple of the flowers. I didn't go crazy with the flowers. As you can see, they're just an accent for this card. So instead of being like the shining element, they are an accent. And I think that that is, you know, that's just fine. You don't have to always make it the star of the show, right? So I guess I don't need this little piece. I just grabbed a scrap and I wasn't sure how much of it I would need. All right, so pure graphite. And I can use this with the artist markers because this is a water-based ink, so I don't have to worry about this reacting with the artist markers because, as you know, water and alcohol, they don't react to each other. So you can use any color of the crisp inks with your artist markers. You don't have to limit yourself to just permanent black or yeah, permanent black. Okay, so I encourage you to give that a try. You know, you don't have to always go for a black outline. So with this, the gray is a little lighter and that makes it just a little softer. So yeah, Sue, I try. Okay, so I've got that, and let's zoom in a little. Okay, so I'm using 3 sets of artist markers today. I won't use the greens for this one, but I've got shades of purple, and this one here is Rock Collection. So I've got purples and grays, and these I'm going to do very simple, not a whole lot going on here. So for our little dragonfly, I'm starting with Deep Iris. So the darkest shade in this one is Midnight Violet. And I'm going to add that in last if I want to add in something a little bit darker. So I'm starting with the darkest shade and just doing some easy flicking. And the nice thing about this particular stamp is that, or at least the way I'm coloring it, is that I don't have to worry about getting into all of these little nooks and crannies. So I was able to use the brush side to just keep going with it. Like I wasn't trying to fill in just a little space like I am right here. I was able to just, oh, I'm going over both of them. No big deal. That's fine. Okay. So if I wanted a little bit more control and preciseness, like say I was going to color the wings in differently, I would be using the bullet nib on here. All right. Ooh, and I think, oh no, I did that right. Okay, so final, I did not do that right. This is Lavender Fields. Okay, so I did this slightly wrong. That's okay, we can fix it. So I meant to do Lavender Fields next, and then come in with our last color, which is Soft Lilac. Fortunately, that was a fixable mistake. All right, and then if I want just a little bit more depth in the center here, I'm using the bullet nib this time because I want to be very precise about this and just get some colors in the center here. This stamp set is from Altenew, and it is called Wild and Free. Okay, so let's just finish up with the purples first. So I'm going to do the same technique as long as I've got my colors in the right order. Yes. So I'll do flower. Okay, but something different I'm going to do here is you see every time this comes in, I'm going to do just a little teeny tiny flick. Okay, and that's going to give this the waving look that like a leaf would petal would have. All right, so pull in my next color here. Yeah, this is a little bit of a different flower style. I like it because of its line drawing. And actually this was designed by Lydia Evans, our brand ambassador at Altenew. All right, and then I will pop this in here. The hello is Mega Hello. You can get just the die, which is just the big hello, or you can get the Mega Greetings stamp set, which has the hello, I forget. This one has hello and thanks. And I'll show you that in a minute here. All right, so I could use the brush end or the bullet end to finish coloring this in and blending those colors. All right, whoa, come on, work with me here. All right, and then for this little flower, I'm not going to go with any of the darker colors. I'm just going to use the 2 lightest colors just to make like a cute little flower here. Like that. Okay, so that's all I'm going to do for purple here. And then I'm going to pull in my rock collection. And again, I'm going to pull out the graphite because that's the darkest, and I'm really not going to use any of that. So I will, I'm actually going to work from lightest to darkest this time. So I'm going to start by coloring in the dragonfly with limestone. And then I'm just going to do a little styled look here. So take the bullet nib and just go on one side. And then the same thing with the, this is Industrial Diamond. This is the third darkest. And just do a little less. And that gives him kind of a shadowy look. All right. Super simple on that. And then for this guy here, I'm really just going to color him in with limestone. So I'm just doing some gray leaves. Not doing any extra shading on this, just plain old limestone. And then I'll do limestone centers on both of the flowers. So not like a whole bunch of complex coloring, but enough to give us a little bit of depth and dimension. All right, so those are going to get die cut. So let me pull out the other things that we need to die cut. We need a piece of, excuse me, this is lavender, no, not Lavender Fields, dark iris. And then I have a piece of gold glitter paper. So let's back ourselves out here. All right. So the hello. Whoa. So this is the Mega Hello die. All right. And I need to cut it out twice. So once I need to cut it out from the gold piece, and I'll save the background because I'll use that for another card at some other time. And then I need to also cut it out of the purple piece because it's actually inset in there. And then I need to save, excuse me, all the little pieces for that as well. So I need to cut that out twice. And then here's the stamp set that coordinates. And this is just the original mega greetings. So you have thanks and hello, and then some sentiments and a little swirl that goes with it. And then there is a thanks die as well. Okay. So I'm going to run over to my Gemini and cut these out. Now, excuse me, boy, I've got the coughs. Even though I'm using my iCrafter piece here, I still have to add in the metal for when I'm cutting with the gold glitter because I want it to be able to cut through. So I do use my piece of metal shim from my Gemini Junior. So that's going to go through as well. So let me show you that sandwich. So that is going to be, and I want to make sure that I get this nice and centered so that way I can use this piece at a later date and make sure that it all looks nice on there. All right. So my sandwich then is going to be my bottom plate, whatever plate that is. You know, I use a Sizzix plate because I'm using my iCrafter piece. So that, and then my iCrafter piece, and then my metal piece, which is all warpy. That's okay. And then my paper with dye, and then my top piece. So that's how that's going to go into the Gemini. And it sounds really awful because it is got a lot to cut through. So here we go. Now I shouldn't need the metal plate for my next part here. Yeah, that cut through really, really well. Oh, I can leave that on there. All right, so I've got my hello, and I'm going to save all these other little pieces for another project at another time. right, so I've got my gorgeous hello. Yeah, so flicking is definitely just something that you need to practice when you're doing your coloring. I'm trying to catch up on your guys' comments here. So, but the more you practice, the better it gets, right? So, and if you guys are talking about Copics, you know, you can mix the two together. So you can use your Altenew markers with your Copics and vice versa. They're both alcohol markers and they will blend. So I would give it a try. All right, so now I've got my hello here, and this is one is really important because this is what's going to go on the card base. So you want to make sure that you have that lined up exactly the way that you want it. And that's going to go through just a regular sandwich for me here. And I forgot card bases. So there we go. Okay. So we're going to need that. We're going to take the hello from this and use it for our other card. So this one will not go to waste. All these extra pieces we need. There we go. So that's nice to get like a twofer out of that. So we will save this piece for our second card. So I'll set that aside. And this we can also, well, this is what you need here. Okay. So let's set up a card base. And I'm looking for a couple things. Some glue. So we will start off by putting down our background, and this is going to help us to make sure that the other pieces go where they're supposed to. So if this lays naturally, then you will fit the other inset pieces in here like just fine. So start with this one here. Whoa, come on, work with me. There we go. All right, and then let's make sure that's going to fit in there well. So there you go, that's going to fit right inside. So now I could actually, instead of putting glue on the backs of everything else, I'm just going to put glue inside of here. It's all going to get covered in a minute anyway. So there we go. And then I can pop in my gold piece. And then put in the other little pieces at the same time. So it's just like a puzzle. All right. These little pieces. At least this one doesn't have a lot of pieces, right guys? So this comes together really quick. Just a couple little teeny tinies. And I'm missing, there it is. There. So now that everything is in there, beautiful inset, gorgeous hello. And then we just need to do some die cutting and arranging. So me rearrange up here and get a few things out of the way. Hope you guys are having a good week. Seems like the audio is working out okay at the moment. So I'm glad we got that fixed right away, or at least mostly fixed. I think that's the right one. And this little guy here, I think that's it. I have to go around and around and around until I find the right way for this to fit together. Maybe this isn't the right one. I feel like this isn't the right die because none of these directions are working. Nope, it's not the right die. That's why. If you go around twice and it still doesn't work, that means you have the wrong die. There we go. Hey, look at that. There's so many little dies in this stamp set that it's super easy to like not know which one to use. All right. Ooh, an air fryer. That's good. How were the carrots? All right, so that's those guys. And instead of using the Gemini, I will pop this through my mini blossom. There we go. You are crispy on the outside and tender on the inside. That sounds fabulous. All right. Okay, I need... So our little dragonfly, we're going to pop up. He's super easy. Audio is still hard to hear. And you can't see me. Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. It's technology. Some days it just doesn't work right. So I see the audio coming across better than that, but all right. So then down here, I'm just going to do a cute little arrangement. And pop it on down here in the corner. So as you can see, you don't really have to, like I said, you don't have to go for like using everything in a stamp set for a project. They can just be like the little accent pieces and really make it just elements that can help it all come together. So you're just these little bits of accent from the stamp set with the hello are just perfect. Like you don't have to go overboard and add 5 million flowers to this, right? So what I am going to do is add some bling. And I had it around here. Where did it go? Oh, there it is. So my Vegas Baby Catherine Pooler mix is coming your way. And there are some seed beads in here, and those worked out really well too. So I'm going to use my new Altenew glue pen. I discovered earlier this week that it works with sequins. So I'm just putting some little drops of the glue on here like that. I mean, it comes out really easily. And even though it does form like a little skin on the top, if you press down and then just start moving it, it will release really easily. So if you ordered this from, this was from Monday, then I think you'll really, really, really be happy with it. All right. So let's pop a couple on here. And I like this mix because there's lots of different things in here. There's the seed beads. There's also these little singles here that don't have the hole in the middle. And those are really, really cute. And then there's these other like disc shaped ones that also don't have a center popped out of them, if I can find one. I'm almost done with this mix, so I might have to order a new one or find a new, oh, there's one. Find a new gold mix to explore. Nope, that wasn't one. Well, we'll put this one down here anyway. So like that. And then, like I said, there's some seed beads in here, both clear ones and iridescent. And gold. So I'll pop like a gold seed bead up there. All right. It's a little bit of bling down in the corner, and it's totally adorable. So there we go. All right. There we go. Okay, so that is our first card done. And I think those are looking really super cute. But I think you guys are really going to like the second card. So let me... Yeah, the inlay is really super nice. I really like the way that that turned out. Instead of stacking it like right on top, the inlay gives it just a little bit of a different look. So, and yes, Sue, the dragonfly really, really makes it, doesn't it? So cute. Okay, so, but I think this next card is the one that you guys are really going to go crazy over because it's a total transparent card. So awesome. Okay, so there's a couple little steps in here to make the frame to get started. So I need a piece of that same purple, and then I need my card base. And I'm going to fold my card base first, so I know exactly where I'm working from. All right, and the dies that I'm using are my Imperial Stitched Rectangles from Heffy Doodle. And I don't use these often, but what I do like about them is that they cut both the inside and the outside. All right. So I'm going to grab, let's see, what do I need? I need the second one in for my card base. And that is going to go like so. Okay. So this is really how I'm going to create my border. And let me grab some tape here and make sure that is all the way around just the way I want it. Okay, so that's good. That's going to go through my Gemini. Okay, so while that is going through, I'm going to take my largest, oh, and actually what I should have done, doink, that usually, think about that for a minute. Oh, Derp. I know what I did with that. Okay, so truly I didn't need the largest die here. I just need this second largest die. So this is a scrap, but it has that really nice border around it. It's got a really beautiful stitched border on the inside here. So I'm going to save this for another project someday. So that will get set aside. So I need this same piece here. And there really wasn't a great way to make sure that it lined up, because I'm going to sandwich these together, right? So this is going to go on the top to complete my border. But like I said, there really wasn't a great way to ensure that I had everything lined up. So I'm just going to eyeball it. And this one's going to run through, and I'm going to get the same stitch detail on that, and that's going to be our border here. All right, so I'm done cutting things. And again, I'm going to have a really nice inside piece here with the stitched border around it. And I will set that aside for another project. I just need this little frame. Okay. So these two are going to eventually go together. Okay. I'm going to set this aside for the moment though. So what I need is my piece of acetate, and actually I can set that aside too. So let me grab my bigger. I'm going to grab my larger one here. Oh, you know what? Actually, I don't even really need this. No, I can do it this way. I was just going to free stamp it, but I can do it this way too. Okay, so I am using a color of StazOn that is not black. It is Plum, and Plum is a new color from Sukaneko, new here in 2020, and it is a part of a 5-color series that is new. And I wanted to show you guys that, again, you don't always have to use black for your outlines. The problem with Plum is that it's really hard to find, so you can get it from imaginecrafts.com. And then I did put a link down in the description about a different shade of purple that you can get from Michael's, and that will work just as well as this Plum. So I'm going to use my Sweet Petunia corners to get my acetate sheet just a little bit off the edge there. Okay. And it's not, I really only have one chance to stamp this, but at least I can get all of my images down at once and it will work great. Okay, so I'm going to take my flower images here and start placing them down where I would like them. I'm not going to go super crazy. And we'll put down, let's see, I forget kind of what I did there. And I'll put some leaves in place. I do want some to go off the edge. And that makes it look like I cut it from a piece of designer paper, right? So this way it gives everything a little bit of motion and it all looks really like it came from one big piece of paper. Yeah, put that little teeny tiny one there. Okay, so that's enough. And I can mean, if I want to later, I could add more in, but this is really quite a bit on here. And when we start coloring it in, you're going to see how gorgeous this looks. So put down my piece of acetate. Lined up in the corners there. All right, guys, and this is when we hold our breath. So I'm going to use my StazOn in Plum. It's a really gorgeous shade of purple. And stamp it. All right, to make sure that I get over each of these. All right, and looks like should be good. Okay, so on to the coloring, and I'm going to pull in, grab a piece of white paper. So let's see what we got. There it is. Okay, so here is all of our gorgeous flowers, and this is the side that I stamped on. So I need to be able to color on this, but if I color on it with my alcohol markers, it's going to wipe the StazOn off because these two don't really play well together. So what I will do is take this and flip it over, and now I'm coloring on the back side. Okay, so when you're coloring on acetate with alcohol markers, do not expect to get gorgeous, beautiful blends and things like that. Because it's just going to, it just blends differently. Okay, so it moves really quickly on the acetate. It doesn't seep into the paper, and you're just going to get a different look. So in this case, you're really always going to want to work from lightest to darkest, because if you start with dark and then go to light, it's going to push all the dark out of the way, and you don't want that to happen. So it's easier to start from lightest to darkest. So let me show you what that's like. So for like this flower here, and you can't hardly even see this purple, but it does provide a slight difference. And you'll see later. Now, if you don't like squeaky sounds, you're not going to like this either because it squeaks. All right, so that's my first color, the soft lilac, and you can barely even see that colored on here. But now I will start with some flicking motions. And this even isn't really like true flicking. All right, and then again, I'll come into my next level here. All right, so you can see kind of how that started to move it around. Let's get it in a little closer. Okay, so this next layer, you're really going to see how the color really moves around. So I almost put like more of a little dot, especially for this one. I'm just doing like some little dots. So it's a much more like impressionist. It's not like realistic coloring. You definitely get a different look when you're doing this. All right. And then for my final color, and you can see how that's just kind of pushing the other purple away. But here's the cool thing about this. So say I don't really like the way this one is looking. So I'm going to do something a little different then. I'm going to like come back in and like I decided I want to color this whole thing differently. You can kind of do that. So for this one, I'm going to change my mind and I'm going to just color in the bottom petals one color and the top petals another color. And all will be right with the world. And Sue, I did see your question there. So about using VersaFine Clair, I don't know that that would work. I don't know that the pigment ink would ever dry completely. You would want to emboss it and heat set it, and it's really hard to do on acetate. You have to do it with a really low heat and move it around a lot and hope that you hope that it turns out without warping. So that would be kind of tough to do. Okay, so then I'm just taking a gray and I'm going in the middle here. So this one is a little bit more of a bold flower. All right, so for these longer ones, I found that I could do more of a flick stroke with it, and it really turned out gorgeous. So I'm going to start, I'm not even going to do the Lavender Fields. I'm going to do the soft lilac on this one here. And I'm going to do this guy up here too. All right, so then my second color, I can get in a flick or two. And can you see how it's kind of just, the color just kind of grows a little bit as it goes. It's really an interesting treatment. It blooms a little bit as you put it down. All right, and then I'll come back in again with my darkest shade. Look at that fun little magic that's happening there. So again, if you didn't have a different color of StazOn, you could just use StazOn black and that would work just fine too. Okay, so then I will finish up this guy here, same technique. And then pop in just a little bit of that darker accent color. Isn't that pretty? And then for the centers of all these, I'm just doing them in a little bit of a gray color, just picking one out of the group. And for this, like in the center here, I can do a little bit of gray. Is this acetate from packaging? It could be, but this is actually craft acetate that you can buy. Lawn Fawn carries some, American Crafts carries some. I've got links down below for you if you want them. All right, so there we go. So that's pretty basic how that all works. So for this guy here, I'm going to do just something very, very simple. I'm just going to do the two darkest colors and just come in and do kind of like a single flick from the center here. And then come back in with my dark. Oh, you know, this time I'll use the bullet nib on this one. And that gives a little bit more detail even, because I'm just getting like these little straight lines. So there we go. And again, I will add in. How long does it take to dry? It's dry. So yeah, it works really quick and it's dry. So this one needs just like a minute or two and it will be completely dry. All right, so this guy, the smaller ones, I will do in some lighter colors. All right, and just a hair. Just a little bit of dark detail. Yeah, it's pretty quick. All right, and then, so now I just need to add in some green. So I have the Tropical Forest greens, and I'm going to do most of these in the lighter colors, so Parrot and Bamboo. So I didn't want these to be like too crazy. So see how that just, I mean, adding the color on this is really, really quick, and you don't, I would say you just don't overthink it. Like, you're not going to get perfection in coloring when you're doing a technique like this. So this is the time just to be able to add splashes of color and have fun with it. There we go. And that's it. All right. So this is now going to go down on my card base. I'll keep this white piece going here so we can see this as it goes. All right, so I'm going to sandwich them together so that way you don't have, like on the inside, it ends up being a finished look. All right, so, oh, you know what? You can use liquid adhesive for adhering it down if you want, or you can use something like a double-sided adhesive, and this is from scrapbook.com. It is 1/8 inch adhesive, and this is like perfect for this application. So we'll actually do this twice because once we get the acetate down, then I'll put another layer and then we'll put the purple to finish it. All right. And that'll be it. So, cool technique, right? And then I want to show you how I will finish the inside so you can actually write in it. Okay, so there's that. And it doesn't matter which way you put on top now, whether you're putting the colored side up or the stamped side up. Either side, it doesn't matter at this point. So in some ways, it's kind of like making a shaker card, like having the window and such. It's very similar to that concept. All right, and then I want to, of course, make sure that my edges are covered. So I'll use some more of this to finish up our edge. Okay. All right. Catch up on. Yeah, Heidi, it is kind of like working with alcohol inks on Yupo. But obviously, yeah, more control because you're actually using the marker instead of the free inks. There we go. All right, so I just need to takes just a hair of concentration. Make sure I get this around the edge. There, gorgeous. All right, so the hello, I am going to use my Tombow adhesive for this. It will stick to the acetate. Come on. Almost time for a new bottle. Actually, let's do that. Hey, look at that. Just some little tiny dots there to make sure that everything sticks down okay. I don't know if the new two-way glue pen from Altenew, if that will stick on acetate. So I'm just sticking with the good old tried and true Tombow. All right. And this worked out kind of well, that in the frame here, I could bend the letters around a little bit if I wanted to make them fit in here exactly how I wanted to. So I have them going like from edge to edge. And it kind of curves around a little bit, but it looks just great that way. All right, so let me pull this out a little bit. Whoa, wrong way. There we go. And one last thing to show you on this. Okay, so what I didn't do on the other one, I didn't get a chance to finish that part of it, is to make this a workable card. I'm going to set this one aside so that it can dry on the acetate real quick, but I can show you on this one. So to make this into a workable card where you could write on the inside, what you're going to want to do is just take a piece of typing paper. It doesn't have to be heavy cardstock, and actually it's preferable for it not to be heavy cardstock. And I'm going to take, you could use glue or your double stick adhesive, either way. Put a little bit on the back panel of the card. So not this panel, not the top or the front, but the top of the back panel here, just below the fold. And put in a piece of typing paper. Okay. So now you can write your sentiment underneath here. All right. And then when the recipient goes to display it, that piece of typing paper is going to kind of help hide the sentiment. You guys see what I mean there? So it'll hide the sentiment, but allow the work that you've done on the front with the clear to actually display. All right. So that's kind of hard to show here. You know, I bet you I could show you it this way. All right. So yeah. So when they have it sitting then on their tabletop, then that piece of paper helps block the sentiment behind it. And you can still see it. So there you go. All right. Do you guys like those cards? Yes. I am glad you enjoyed both of them. So we had our beautiful inlaid card with just some little accents using the Wild and Free. And then we had this one here where we did our gorgeous acetate front. Both of them using alcohol markers. So some new ways to use your alcohol markers too. So I hope you enjoyed those, guys. And I can't believe that like an hour poof went by that quick. I know we had some technical difficulties with the sound at the beginning, and I think the sound is clear. It just might be a little quiet today, so you might have to turn it up a little bit if you've been watching the replay. Thanks for hanging in with me, guys. I will be back with one more week of the Wild and Free stamp set. And then we will move on to a new set for November. And I'm not quite sure. There is one Thursday in November that will be Thanksgiving here in the United States. And I'm not sure if I will be broadcasting that day or not. I will keep you guys posted on that. You know, sometimes it's just nice to hang out with your virtual friends and to take a break from family. And because of COVID and everything, I don't think we'll be having family here anyway. So I might do it. I might not. I'll keep you guys posted. I am so glad you guys joined me today, and we had a great time with some fun stamping projects. Don't forget, if you like today's video, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to share it out to your friends. Affiliate links are below for any shopping that you need to do. I appreciate it when you use those links because they do help to support this craft education and keep it free for you. So thank you so much for joining me, guys, and I will see you again next week. Bye.